Hey everybody, welcome to the Vicious Syndicate Whisper of the Old Gods card review. I'm joined by Shimonahi, Ginge, and Demigod, and my name is Bloody, in case you didn't know. How's everyone doing?
Great, having a good time.
Nice. Alright, jumping right into the first card. Cthulhu.
Wait.
Shimonahi, what is your humble opinion on Cthulhu, this lovely beast of a card?
Cthulhu is it's a good card, I think. I mean, I guess it could go one of two ways. It's either gonna be really good or it's gonna be just a garbage card. I think the fact that they're adding 16 cards in the game that have synergy with Cthulhu are probably gonna give it like kind of its own archetype, kind of like Reno has. So, I mean, 10 man. I mean, assumingly like in a regular game, if your entire deck's based off Cthulhu, I'm assuming it'll be like at least, I don't know, like minimum like 12-12 when it comes out. I mean, that's like 2 Avenging Wraths, and you get a 12-12. So,
Yeah.
seems good.
Well, I mean,
guess.
let's jump into one of these cards that buffs Cthulhu. Let's go to Beckoner of Evil. I mean,
I don't get my opinion about Cthulhu.
Okay, fine. What do you think of Cthulhu, Ginge?
Wow.
All right, great, thank you. So, I think that Cthulhu was looking pretty mediocre until he got his boy Ancient Shield Bearer. I really like that card. I'm a big fan of Warrior. And I think that if you're going to be playing something like Cthulhu, you're going to need to slow down the game. And Cthulhu, Ancient Shield Bearer, actually, sorry, lets you stay alive until Cthulhu, and it's a good body, you know, it's 6/6. And then you can use other cards in the set to make the Cthulhu huge by the time it actually comes out. I think Ancient Shield Bearer will be the only way you live until you play Cthulhu.
So Ginge just catapulted us into Ancient Shield Bearer. So without asking Demi's opinion on Cthulhu, Demi, what's your opinion on Cthulhu and Ancient Shield Bearer? Now that we're doing that.
Well, I'm not a fan of cards that slow down the game because I want to go faster and faster, you know. But I think Shield Bearer is actually pretty good. I'm not sure. It's kind of like that 5/5/5 Paladin card because it could it wouldn't activate. It couldn't activate, right? It doesn't activate always. It's kind of like a coin flip, right?
Yeah.
And if you're if I'm playing like an aggro deck and I'm just smorking you down, which I usually do, if you don't get 10 armor from this 7/6/6, it's just a card, right? Like, what if it doesn't activate?
But if you have a Cthulhu deck, there's no way you're making it to turn 7 without Cthulhu having 10 attack. That's like almost implausible.
I agree. There's no way, dude.
We're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Because we don't really know for sure, right?
And we don't even know all the cards. Yeah, we don't even know all the cards yet. I can already tell you that it's almost, if you're playing Cthulhu, you're getting it to like probably at least 12-12 by turn 7.
By turn 7.
Yeah, it's only like 3. That's only like 3 cards, dude. Like, do you just not do anything for the first 7 turns of the game? It's my turn to AFK until turn 7 and play a naked Ancient Shield Bearer. Is that my plan?
There's like no way that it's not going to be 10 attack by turn 7. That means you only need 2 buffs over a span of 7 turns. Really doubt.
Doable.
Okay, I guess it is doable, and I think Cthulhu is. I like the card; it's pretty powerful. It's like when it came out, I was pretty excited for it. I like the whole Avenging Wrath kind of deal, and it could be used as an ender as well. So
I feel like a lot of Cthulhu's viability is going to be determined by what the other gods do in the set, because they all have their own like little system. Like Cthulhu is focused on being buffed. So I feel like if the other gods are just faster than it, then it might struggle. But if they're all really slow, then Cthulhu could definitely be solid.
Yeah, at the same time, too, like, it depends on what, like, I'm assuming that by the fact that they're releasing 16 cards that are affected by Cthulhu, I'm assuming each class is getting its own Cthulhu card, like, possibly. So, like, depending on which class gets the best Cthulhu card, maybe those will be like the main Cthulhu classes or something. I don't know. Maybe each old god works better with different classes. Maybe that's kind of the thing they're going for.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into one of the neutral Cthulhu cards, Beckoner of Evil. It's a 2-mana 2/3. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2. What do you think, Ginge? Let's start with you.
I actually really like that card. Its stats are solid. It can survive an early trade with another minion, so it can give you a little bit of board control there. And then it has the battle cry of buffing Cthulhu +2/+2 when it comes into play. So that makes your Cthulhu right there 8/8. So if you get 2 of these Beckoner of Evils out, it's at 10/10 and is nice and ready for the Ancient Shield Bearer. Yeah, I think that card's solid.
What do you think, Demi?
Okay, so I actually just read the card, and I take back what I said about Shield Bearer. Yeah, that thing's gonna activate no matter what. If you have a Cthulhu deck.
Yeah, Beckoner of Evil is like it's completely nuts because I mean, especially with like Zombie Chow and like a lot of like the only strong one drop basically leaving the game. Like Beckoner of Evil is going to be a solid body to like stop a lot of early aggression, and then at the same time it just buffs your. I mean, it's basically it's a River Crocodilus, but it has an effect, so it's just OP.
Yeah, I mean, well, now we
Yeah.
don't have to play River Crocodilus anymore. Now we
It's
can
a
play
shame. I'm
Beckoner of
really gonna
Evil.
miss him.
I mean, it surely like gives you reason to play it as a 2-drop, right?
Yeah, because normally when you have a like no matter what card it is, if it has an effect that affects like importance level, you usually deducts from the stats, right?
Yeah,
It's like
the
if
stats
the better
aren't really
the better
deducted
the better
here,
the
so-
ability, the lower your stats are. But this card has really strong ability and really good stats.
Yeah,
Just-
so let's jump into another Cthulhu card, Twilight Elder.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah,
I like this
3
card
mana,
too.
3 mana, 3/4. At the end of your turn, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. So it's not just that battle cry, but it'll happen every turn it stays alive. So that's pretty solid. And what do you think, Shimona?
Well, this card is. I mean, it's the same type of deal. Like all of the reason all the Cthulhu cards are so strong is because not only do they have the effect that like helps your end game, but at the same time they're just all basically like they have the perfect stats for their cost. So I mean, it's a 3-cost 3/4, which is good. So this is like probably like how do you kill a spider tank? Like we're playing against like mech whatever, and they draw spider tank. Like you just can't kill it.
Yeah. Ginge.
Yeah, I have to agree with Shimona here. Spider Tank's pretty hard to kill, and it is the same stats as this Twilight Elder. And then Twilight Elder's buffing your Cthulhu every turn it lives, so it's like it's pretty important that your opponent removes it as soon as they can.
Yeah, makes sense. Demi, any last thoughts before we move on to the next card?
It's pretty much the same thing. It trades into other minions. It's pretty much what the 2/3 is. If it was just another 3/4, yeah, it'd be pretty bad. But it does have the Cthulhu synergy, so that's why it's gonna work.
Sounds good. And let's walk into Cthulhu's Chosen. It is a 4 mana, 4/2 battle cry. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2, and it also has Divine Shield. We'll start at Demi again. Demi, what do you think?
I guess the Divine Shield does make it kind of appetizing. I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, you could go like turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, but I'm not sure if it will like be able to combat other drops as a 4/2. But it does have Divine Shield. I'm not too sure about it, honestly.
What do you think, Ginge?
We have to take into account that a lot of the current 4 drops are going to be getting nerfed. Like Shredder got removed because it's getting rotated out, and then Keeper of the Grove will probably be getting nerfed. So I think that gives Cthulhu's Chosen a better chance of being viable. But I still think Cthulhu's Chosen is kind of weak. And I'm not sure how much buff cards you're actually going to need for the Cthulhu, because you're going to have Beckoner of Evil, you're going to have Twilight Elder. So you might not actually need this to make your Cthulhu bigger, especially if they print even more Cthulhu-related cards, because there are supposed to be 16 of them. So I think Cthulhu's Chosen could see play, but it's not very likely.
Shimona?
I mean, I think like the Cthulhu decks are obviously non-aggro decks. They're all based on survivability till you just drop the Cthulhu and ruin people's lives. So I mean, dropping like a standard 2 and 3 drop that have good stats is fine. But like when it comes to like 4 or 5 and like 6 drops, like in decks like this, they have to be defensive cards. Like they need to be cards like, for example, in the current meta at least, like Keeper of the Grove or Keep of Uldamon or even Shredder. I guess you could define as defensive because it gives you so much board presence. But this card just seems kind of weak. I don't know.
All right, I got you.
I don't think I like it. But I mean, if there's not a lot of other strong Cthulhu cards released, then this will probably have to see play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It seems like so far they haven't released any other Cthulhu cards. So at this point, we're just going to go. Oh no, you know what? There's there's a Claxi Amber Weaver, the Druid card. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain +5 health, and it's a 4 mana 4/5. And we'll start at Ginge. You love Druid. What do you think?
I do love Druid, but I don't think this is my kind of Druid. If you're going to be playing Druid, you're going to want to ramp into your things. So you're going to be wanting to play. You're going to want to play Wild Growth on 2, and Beckoner of Evil, which is one of the most important Cthulhu cards released so far, is also a 2-drop. So you're going to be having cards compete on curve. So you either play Beckoner of Evil or Wild Growth. You're not going to be able to play them both. And then sure, this Cloxy Weaver will have really good stats, but it doesn't go with Druid very well. So unless they release some more Cthulhu-related Druid cards, I think that the old Brokeback Druid will be sticking around.
What do you think, Demi?
I kind of feel the same way because if wild growth is still a thing, you don't want to block out that curve going in. So I'm not too sure. Well, we haven't seen all the I guess the 10 drops, right? Is all the bosses like 10 drops?
Yeah,
we've
Cthulhu's.
only seen 2 of them, yeah.
Okay, so maybe it might be viable. I mean, it's like a 4/10, so it could kill like maybe about 2 minions or 3, depending. But I think it's still fine as a 4-drop, though. I mean, if it activates, obviously 4/5, it could. It's like a Yeti, right? Pretty much, but yeah, we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's jump into one of the earlier releases that they showed. Corrupted Healbot. 5 mana, 6/6. Restoring.
You forgot wait, you
Oh,
forgot.
man.
Forgot about Luke.
Oh,
Got skipped.
did
Yeah.
Shimonahi not say anything?
I know we're very eager to talk about Corrupted Healbot. We should give Shimonahi a chance to talk about our boy.
The Weaver.
Oh man.
Anyway, so I think that this card can kind of go one of 2 ways. The first way is if depending on how they change Druid, but if the standard like Innervate Wild Growth combo Druid sticks around, then this card will not have a spot, and neither will Cthulhu in Druid at all, because getting Cthulhu out earlier hurts you more than it helps you. I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure it doesn't really fit. Like Cthulhu doesn't fit the current theme of Druid. But if they change Druid enough to the point where like a Cthulhu Druid is probably going to be pretty likely, if not like common, then this card's going to be absolutely insane, because even if you don't end up playing it on 4, because if you do have to play it on 4, like it's still a 4/5, so you're fine. And if you play it like on turn 6 or 7, like comboed with like Wrath or Swipe or anything else like that, then you also get to drop a 4/10. And if you're playing Cthulhu in your deck, then you're probably going to be running like Sun Furies and stuff, right? Because like if you drop like 2 of these in Sunfurium, like what does your opponent do? That's like 2 free Ancient Allures. That's crazy. Or Wars, sorry. I don't know. I think it could go one of 2 ways. But if Cthulhu Druid is a thing, this card will definitely see play because it's insane.
Yeah, it'll see play if Cthulhu Druid is a thing. I just doubt that Cthulhu Druid will become a thing.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know. It does have the ramp, so maybe it could be.
Alrighty. Well, back to Corrupted Healbot. Let's start with Shimonahi here, because I may or may not have skipped over him at some point in time.
Well, I mean, they're removing. I mean, okay, so it's a 5-drop 6/6, right? So its stats are really strong. They're removing like a majority of the strong 5-drops out of the game right now. So 5-drop's definitely going to be like one of those spots that's up for grabs. I mean, it is a mech, but like they took all the mech synergy out. So I mean, that probably doesn't have a huge role unless they're adding a lot more mech in, which I doubt they are. But I think it's bad. Like, I don't think it'll see a lot of play. But like, I mean, because if you're playing a control deck, you could put this in and just like drop it on 5, and it's a 6/6 so it's really strong, right? Like in Control Mirror, this card's nuts. Because like your opponent has to deal with a 6/6 in a Control Mirror on 5. That's really strong, right? But Control versus Aggro or Aggro versus Control, like this card's just bad. So I think it's a little too situational, because giving your opponent 8 health, like you can't put it in aggro decks. That doesn't make sense. Like Fel Reaver, for example, is the same type of deal as this card, where it has a negative effect on yourself, but it doesn't like help your opponent win the game most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be like putting Zombie Chows in. It's literally the same exact thing as putting Zombie Chows in like Face Shaman or something. Like you would just never do it. You would never put this in Face decks either. So I don't know. It depends on how the meta changes, but I don't think so.
To be honest, I think this card is terrible. I don't even think I would play a 5-mana 6/6, much less one that restores 8 health to my opponent's hero. really all I have to say about it. I don't think it's very good.
Demi?
Sounds like a good arena card. I mean, if it was like, because normally, I guess if you're running control, you want like a taunter, and I mean, if they're smorking you down, like this doesn't help you at all. I mean, so I mean, if it had taunt, it would be OP, but it doesn't, and the effect
It's so
is
good if it
pretty
had
bad.
taunt.
Yeah,
If
but
it had taunt, that'd be pretty good.
I mean, they'll be broken, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very powerful, but kind of difficult to play in certain type of decks.
I gotcha. Well, speaking of things that have taunt, but also speaking of bad cards, let's talk about Infested Tauren. This 4 mana 2/3 Death Rattle summon a 2/2 slime. The slime doesn't even have taunt. What do you guys think? Whoever speaks first.
Oh, once again, I think this card's terrible. It costs 4 mana for just a 2/3 that summons a 2/2 slime when it dies. Granted, a lot of the silence cards will be getting nerfed, so it won't just get silenced and make it even worse than it already is. But I think that just summoning a 2/2 body after it dies isn't worth it costing 4 mana. So, yeah.
Demi?
Yeah, it's not like a pilot shredder where you can get like a 4 attacker, 3 attacker, and it's a 2/3 for 4. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I kind of like it, the art and everything.
The art on it is great, but that doesn't make it a good card.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing good about it is the art.
I mean, I feel like with the like Ginge kind of pointed out that they're nerfing a lot of their silence kind of factor of the game, makes it so, and especially with a lot of the 4-drops in the game, or mainly Shredder basically being taken out, making that 4-drop slot kind of up for grabs. This card could be seen. I mean, the 2/2 doesn't have the 2/2 that drops doesn't have taunt. Otherwise, this card actually might be okay. The 2/2 that drops just straight up is just a regular 2/2 that's just straight chilling. So it's a lot worse than it could be, but it does have some type of synergy with the other old god, Inzoth or Nazoth or whatever, the Corruptor, which is obviously like what I think where they were going with this. Because if you end up playing like even if it's just like one of these, for example, and then when you drop Nazoth on 10, then I mean it gives you a free taunt to hide behind as well. So if there are no other like strong Death Rattle taunts, it might be seen in Nazoth decks.
I gotcha. We'll
Other than that, though, it's really bad. I think.
Yeah.
you like make a case for it, and then after you make the case,
I mean,
you just
every
shut it
card,
down.
you have to make a case for it. But
like-
I don't think it will. But it could. It could, depending on what else comes out. If the
Think
4-drop
this card
slot's
would
just like
be-
really shit in the bed, then maybe.
This card
I
would be
mean,
nuts if
the-
the slime had taunt and this guy had 1 more health.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have 1 more health, and the slime doesn't have taunt, so
That's
I
just
think
like,
that-
oh, this card would be better if it was better.
yeah, this card would be better if it was better.
I mean, the thing is, like, Yeti can trade into it easily. It's like,
Yeah, we're gonna. See a
Yeti
lot of
still
that.
exists.
Yeah,
You sure?
So, I mean, I hope it does, but
hopefully. Well, let's
Yeah,
jump.
I'd rather play this card than Yeti though.
Think so?
really,
No way.
Yeah, every time. Well, I mean, it depends on your deck, right? Like if I'm playing Druid, probably not. But like if I'm playing like
Priest.
Yeah,
like
can't
Priest,
find
yeah,
that.
like yeah, if I'm playing like Priest, then yeah, I play this.
Play this over Yeti and Priest when you can buff the Yeti and then heal it.
Yeah, but if I'm playing like a Nazoth Priest or some shit, then yeah, I want this card so that when I play my Nazoth, I can have a Taunter as well. So like I don't have to be afraid to play that card because it's just basically all or nothing. When I play that card at the same time, it also develops me like 2 taunt minions and 2 strong minions, so I have a really strong board presence at the same time.
At that point, you're not playing it because it's Priest, you're playing it because it's an Azoth deck.
Which is what you said before. Alright,
Which is what you said before.
Just stroke
All right,
your
fight
pillow.
me, dude. Whatever, let's go.
Honestly, we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into this 10-mana Warlock card, just called Doom. Destroy all minions and draw a card for each. What do you think, Demi?
Another dark hole.
Dark hole.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Dark hole?
Yeah, dark hole.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
And you're talking to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master.
Yeah, I always
Another,
draw.
another Regekai over here. Just
But I'm not sure if Warlock needed another card like this. Honestly, I mean, you do draw cards for each minion, but it does cost 10, so that's your entire turn. Maybe in like a Reno, maybe if Reno can still exist, you can have this card and Twisting Nether for double giant board clears. Not too
All right,
sure.
well, thanks for your great insight, Demi. But let me educate you. So basically, this card is
Yes.
terrible.
Thank God.
because
Yep.
This card
Yep.
is absolutely horrible because this is why. So,
Dude.
in case anybody hasn't noticed, Warlock doesn't run any draw cards at all. The reason for this is because their hero power lets them draw their whole deck whenever they want, so they don't need draw cards. So essentially, for some reason, if you decided to play this card over Twisting Nether, because there's no way you're fitting in this and Twisting Nether, that's just horrible. But let's say for some reason you decide to take out Twisting Nether and run Doom. Right? So like, let's just say Doom's good on turn 10, right? You have maybe 10 cards left in your deck, if depending on how your taps are going. You have maybe 10 cards left in your deck. There's 4 or 5 minions on board. You play Doom, you draw the other half of your deck, you overdraw maybe 2 cards, and then I don't know, like what was the point?
But you're thinking situational.
That's not
I mean,
situational at all. That's like
what
best scenario.
Wait, what if control decks is actually a big thing, and then you have like 2 big giant clears?
Then you're fatiguing in the mirror, and it doesn't matter because you're fatiguing and you lose anyways.
There you go.
I don't know. I think you should at least give it a little chance. You know?
No, I'm not giving this card a chance. All right, dude. Twisting Nether's better than this. It can come out earlier, especially because Emperor Thorison's going to be nerfed, which makes Doom, like, you can't play anything else with Doom. You're just going to have to play the Doom and be done with it. So you won't be able to play anything, you get off the Doom, and then you can't fit in a tap with Doom. So, like, you're not gaining, like, you basically go -1 card when you play Doom and then start adding because you're not fitting in a tap. Because with Twisting Nether, you're tapping and playing Doom anyways. So if you draw like 2 cards off Doom, you truly only drew 1 card and healed yourself for 2 because you're going to be fitting in a tap anyways. And then like there's a reason Warlock doesn't need drop because of its hero ability. So like I don't think it matters that Doom draws you cards. I think it's actually worse.
This card sucks.
Speaking of cards that suck, let's talk about another one, which I feel like this whole expansion is. No, just...
I totally disagree with. I totally disagree with my my
Team
role players
captain?
over here.
With your team captain.
Yeah, your team captains, plural.
So let's jump into the 4-mana 2/4 Eater of Secrets. Battlecry, destroy all enemy secrets, gain +1/+1 for each. Ginge, do you have a secret to throw at us about if this is a good or a bad card?
I'm going to tell you a big secret. I think this card's bad. So right now, if you look at it, like people will say, oh, you can just play this in Paladin, and then if you lose 2 secrets, then you'll just play this and you're good to go. And I think that's just wrong because like Kezan takes the secret, and I think that's a little bit better than just destroying it.
Is Kazan getting removed?
No.
No, Kazan is a basic card, I thought, right?
So you have the Kezan,
Oh, is it
and
Blackrock?
I'm not sure, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Kazan's like not really played right now, and then like all the secrets that are like being targeted by Kazan are probably going to be nerfed, right? Like there's a lot of talk about them nerfing Ice Block, Avengers getting rotated out, so that hurts Secret Paladin, and then all the other cards in Secret Paladin are getting removed, so you probably won't have to worry about that. So I think Eater of Secrets just got printed.
Hey, I'm pretty sure Kazan's getting rotated out.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I just looked it up, and Kazan is getting rotated out. So.
All right, well, you got me there. So this will replace Kazan and the Reno decks that play it then, if there's still secrets lurking around.
I don't think you can. I don't think we can evaluate this card correctly because we don't know what new secrets come out.
True.
Like, currently in the meta, this card would never ever be played. I mean, in this exact meta, this card would be played because of the amount of Secret Paladins. Just because like it'd be funny as hell, so this card would probably be like a 1-of instead of Kazan in some decks.
Yeah.
But like Avenge is getting removed, so like, Secret Paladin might not even be a thing because Avenge is like one of their best secrets. So it really depends on what the new secrets are. So I don't know.
I was gonna say, I mean, the difference.
I'm pretty sure it's bad because situational cards like this are normally bad, but it's hard to tell without knowing exactly what other secrets are coming out.
I
could
mean,
agree
the
with
difference between this and Kazan is that this kills all of them as opposed
This
to
is I think this is better than Kazan in large scale. Like if you're playing against Secret Paladin, because Kazan's bad against Secret Paladin for most of the time.
Yeah. But Mad Scientists are going to get removed, so I don't know. They need to figure out some sort of new secret mechanic or it just seems like secrets are not going to be
I
viable
mean,
at all.
they're even talking about nerfing Ice Block, like currently. They think it might be too good.
Really?
That's what I've read in a few articles.
Jeez.
But then, like, as like Reno Lock versus Freeze Mage, you'd prefer Kazan over this, right? Because like you want the block there so that once they pop your block, you can just Reno. So I think that Eater of Secrets, like, even if Kazan was around, might not see play. I mean, like, it definitely helps it that Kazan is going to be being rotated out, but I still think it's very situational.